Welcome back to the AI Ripple Effect podcast, everybody. Today, we're lucky enough to be joined all the way from Houston by Paul Haught, who is the head of sales and operations at Seahorse Express. Paul, it is a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here, Adrian.
Looking forward to hearing all about Seahorse and what you guys do. But why don't we start by, Paul, if you would, giving us a little bit about your journey to your current position heading up sales and operations, a little bit more about what Seahorse Express do and who your typical customers are, if you could.
Yeah, and I think my story is probably similar to a lot of people in logistics. Is like, like when you're a little kid, you're like, I'm gonna be in logistics. Maybe some people are, who are parents or drivers, but I feel like a lot of us just stumble into logistics and then we stay. But for me, I went to school for finance economics. Did some sales jobs selling cars, did B2B, and then when COVID hit, everything shut down. So I was helping sell brand new homes, and everything shut down. So I was living in Toledo, Ohio at the time, and the only place hiring was a freight company called TQL. And they said, you sure you want to do this? This is entry level and you have all this experience. And I needed a job, but I knew I would be able to better myself. And then so that's why I started my freight journey. And I stayed at TQL for 2 years. I learned a lot. I feel like I got a supply chain MBA because you learn so much by doing everything yourself. Build a book of business, prospect, do operations, everything from the billing to tracking down payments. So that really had me a really good stable foundation for what I have now. And then I left there and we did an agency with Global Trans for a year. Me and a partner of mine, we hired employees from all the United States and moved them to North Carolina. Started the agency was growing really well, and then some personal problems with him and his wife caused the company to shut down, or the agency to shut down and lay everybody off. They wanted to keep me, but I just didn't really feel right with my team. That actually led me to start fundraising. Fundraising for raising money for a new brokerage to take care of my friends and employees, and that led me to Atlanta, Georgia. Led me to offer in North Carolina, Mount Airy, and then ended up in New York City for an opportunity. Was up there moving freight for the only freight brokerage right across the street from Trump Towers, but it never worked out to where we raised the money or got bought out or whatever. Danny and Seahorse Express, they were a client of mine for 4 years, and he's been trying to hire me and bring me down for the longest time. When he saw everything go on, he was really happy for me. He thought I sold the company, he thought I was raising all this money, and then he's like, "How the heck did you do this?" But then stuff happened how it happened, and then he brought me down here June 2023. So I've been with Seahorse down in Houston. We're growing the company ever since then.
Awesome. And what do you guys do at Seahorse Express? What are your services?
So we used to be asset based. We had trucks in New York, New Jersey, where Danny's from. He's from the Bronx. We do a lot of drayage at the major ports all over the United States. We usually just do like the heavyweight stuff, the overweight stuff, flat racks, anything like transloading. We usually do the hard stuff, the different ports and rails, and then we do a lot of oversized stuff, a lot of heavy haul, and then everything in between. Because our clients usually will want someone just to do everything from the port to a delivery, so we handle that for them.
Got it. So anybody with large bits of kit that need moving are kind of your customers, right? Or is there a specific segment you go for?
It seems like a lot of our business is freight forwarders for the drayage side and the port side, because those kind of companies, freight forwarders, they look good in front of their clients when they provide good service and good rates all the way to the door. And so sometimes like hard projects, hard loads, they partner with someone like us. We can make them look good. We can make sure they make enough money, and then also they get a job. Get the job again because we did a good job. And then it seems like a lot of our partners that we work with are equipment dealers, or just people that buy and sell equipment and ship it overseas. So we'll move a lot of oversized equipment, stuff that hasn't been running. We have to hire wreckers for cranes to load it. So we usually get the hard stuff, which is good because it helps you provide more value because you're the person that actually gets this stuff done. So I would say a lot of freight forwarders and a lot of equipment dealers and buyers.
Right. And I guess with your focus on that sector, you'll see a lot of challenges with the import-export side of stuff. Are you seeing any sort of exacerbation in the macro trends in the market around tariffs, or are there any other trends you're seeing at all, Paul?
I know that each country has different rules. I remember when Turkey came out with certain rules 2 years ago, all these machines had to ship to Turkey by a certain date. So we had a bunch of people just buy machines left and right, having to ship everything because there'd be a deadline in Turkey. Recently, a lot of people are exporting machines over to the Middle East. So I'm not sure if that's related to tariffs or not, or just economic growth, but a lot of people are buying and selling machines here and then shipping overseas. And some of my equipment dealers, they import machines like from Hyundai go to South Carolina ports, North Carolina ports. They are ditching out to get better rates on those moves that pick up at the port because they have tariffs hit them, and so those are non-revenue generating moves because you're porting them and you're sending to a branch just to sit there for a little bit. So I know for me in certain lanes like that, they run really tight and really good rates on those just offset the tariffs that they're paying right now. So that's with the equipment dealers. That's why I've been seeing a lot recently.
And I guess, I mean, we're in a bit of a downturn in the market generally. Is there anything you're seeing out there that's sort of supporting a turnaround? I mean, are you guys focusing on things like cost drives, efficiency drives, that kind of focus at the moment?
For me, it seems like in this industry, there's so many niches, and some niches will be up, some will be down. Someone that's doing it every day, I know for a fact that construction is up in Texas, in the Southeast, and then anything related to those industries, whether it be, flooring, wood, equipment, anywhere in Texas is booming like crazy. South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina is booming for construction. So companies that are moving stuff like that. And then I would say anything data center related, which is very related to AI. So I do a lot of deliveries of they call it testing equipment. They're pallets of coming from Chicago all over the United States, go to Microsoft data centers, and they mimic servers so that they can test equipment. So I've been sending those over all over the United States for the past month or two, and those companies have strict deadline delivery procedures because it's a data center. Sometimes you have to show your passport, and sometimes it's really strict to get in. You have to have an escort, but those companies are paying good rates, but they want good service. But I've noticed anything data center related is just booming right now as well.
Awesome. And you mentioned AI there. What is your take on AI, Paul, in the logistics market? Do you see it as something which is going to help the businesses to thrive? Is it something that you feel is disruptive from a workforce displacement perspective? What are your views?
I think it's both. I think for me, it will help the broker focus on things that humans can do, building relationships, making phone calls, doing certain things, solving problems, and then in the back end, like track and trace, automating systems such as emails or outreach, or like asking for PODs, such as that, like that. I think AI is going to be great for that because it will save companies money, time, and then it's a professional way to do these things. And then that'll allow the brokers and the people that work in the freight forwarding companies or these companies to just focus on the relationships. Because in reality, there's millions of options for freight to use your freight. But people, like I said before, 71% of people buy their cars just because they like and trust a salesperson. So in freight, if you want people to buy from you, they need to like and trust you. And you need to do that over the phone or in person. That needs to be a personal touch. So for me, I feel that my job as broker is stable. It's not going to go anywhere because it requires that human touch for relationships, but it's only going to help us with efficiency using AI so that we don't do the back end stuff, chase down invoices, the automated messages for emails and stuff like that, PODs. That stuff I really welcome because that'll allow me to focus on the stuff that I really love doing, which is interacting with people and solving problems.
100%. I think that's a great perspective. I agree with you completely. On your journey as to where you are today, Paul, what have been the biggest challenges you faced in your professional career, and how have you managed to get over those?
They always say when you leave a company and move to another one, you want all your customers to come or clients to come, even carrier partnerships, but it's really hard to do that. When I moved from TQL, I had to build myself brand new up there, built it to 45 customers. I was number two in the country in the company. And then leaving TQL, we'll go with Trans. I built it back up again, book of business. And then with that fundraising, all the stuff I was doing after I left Go Trans, if you don't run freight for your customers every week, they got to go somewhere else. So when I moved to Seahorse, I had to build everything back up. That's like, multiple times I had to build a book of business back up. Some clients like the Amish, they stayed with me all 4 or 5 years. But, it seems like that's the biggest challenge is building a book of business almost from scratch and doing it multiple times.
That's a great perspective. And if you were able, say hypothetically, to go back and change one thing that you've encountered, would there be anything you would change?
Freight related, I think I learned a lot from each company that I worked with. Obviously, I think transitions, you can always look back and say, I might have been able to do this better with this person. Maybe not be so emotional because I really care about people. But sometimes people take advantage of others or maybe not treat others with respect. It kind of hurts me, and I take that personally. So I think looking back, maybe I could have done a better job with that, especially in transitions. Is not let stuff get taken personally to me. It's a business. People are trying to do the best they can usually, and sometimes people might say stuff that they don't actually mean, and So you can't just take that personally.
Sure. That's a great view. Going forward, so for Seahorse Express, what are your key growth targets over the next few months and years from a product expansion services? What are you looking at to grow the business?
So for us, I know we're trying to grow more of the employee count, whether it be through 1099 or W-2 employees. 'Cause right now we're a small company. We have a global reach. We do stuff in Canada, Mexico, all the United States, and most people they don't realize how many people we have. But right now in the office, there's 5 people, then 2 people overseas, so we have 7 people. We would like to grow our sales team to about probably 7 to 10 more people, and just whether it be W-2 or 1099. But Danny, the VP, he does very knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable about so many different aspects that people might not know about. For me, it'd be really good to get people on here that can grow the company, but also want to learn, because the stuff that I learned from him, it's really hard to learn from other people. And so it gives you kind of a leg up. And the branding for Seahorse is really good. Heavy haul and port pickups, that's something that's going, even when port pickups are down, heavy hauls up. Something that, no matter what the economic macro is looking like, one of those sectors is going to be good enough for you to live and hopefully grow.
Awesome. And it seems you have all bases covered. So for the guys out there listening and watching who want to look at the heavy haul or the port pickup or both, where can they get more information about Seahorse Express?
You can look at our website, seahorseexpress.com. That shows a lot of different things we do. But for me, I use my LinkedIn. It's kind of like a visual resume, just showing different stuff. So if you search Paul Haught, Haught, on LinkedIn, you'll see that a lot of my pictures, I mean, all those pictures are mine. And so you'll see the different types of loads we do, different kind of value provide. And for me, going into this industry, not knowing anything, heavy haul was one of the number one things I did at TQL too. And I only did it because the clients that I had, that's what they needed help with. I matched my knowledge with what the clients needed, and I would just ask everybody that knew more than me questions, wrote down, and try to learn as much as I can. So coming here is a resource of heavy haul. That's crazy. So for anybody looking to get industry, I would just find mentors, ask questions, and just try to find out as much as you can, and just match that with the value that your clients want. Because not every client's going to move oversized loads. They might use you once a year, but that's when they think of heavy haul, they think of you. But there's some of these clients that are moving stuff once a day, multiple times a day, once a week. And so you can really provide a lot of value if you understand what they're moving.
Awesome. Well, listen, we'll make sure that we include all of those links in the description of the podcast when it goes out, so everybody can find out much more about Seahorse Express and the services you guys do. And, or if they want to come and work for you guys, 'cause it seems as though you're growing your workforce. So I'm sure people out there would love to come and join the forces. So listen, thank you so much for joining us today, Paul. Thank you also, everybody out there watching and listening, for joining this episode. We'll see you in the next episode of the AI Ripple Effect podcast. But for now, Paul Haught at Seahorse Express, for all the way from Houston, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and knowledge.
And you as well, Adrian. Hopefully I can make it to that side of the world soon enough.
You're always welcome.
Thank you.